We have it, yeah. So, hopefully, My intention to bring to mind is what I sense community needs or benefit from, which I think I would say rest and regeneration. You get quite, busy doing lots of stuff. I think that's what I get a sense that's always useful to know that, and because I sense, that's what I need. And in general, I got a feeling that's what many people need. Activity, doing things, but even just the amount of data processing that people have to do. Mind gets very busy juggling plates, this, that. We go into a lot of detail. And detail, but also just that sense of being able to, okay, that's that, and now step back, and things rest in the heart. Certainly in monastic training it does take a while to actually get a lot of these protocols established, so you don't have to kind of think them, you're more or less transformed into, it becomes quite natural. You don't have to think about it, but even just kind of taking in bits. And in terms of Dhamma, it's the same. There's a lot of it that we can talk about. A lot of detail. And you'll kind of pick that up over the years. Same familiar themes. Mindfulness, Eightfold Path, Noble Truths. And you'll begin to build up your own details to build onto those foundational teachings and trainings. This is sublime, this is peaceful, the stilling of sankharas, the relinquishment of accumulations, detachment, dispassion, destruction of craving, nibbana. This is an approximation. The stilling of sankharas. Restful. The sankharas, at least the ones that really come to the fore, are the citta sankharas. Intention, volition, impulse, attention, data, contact, that which is interprets, lots of stuff bouncing. Like attention is the hunter. Contact, it receives it. Intention runs out, do more. This is the wheel. These three working together. Formations. And they work together, so you could start off with intention, inclination, I'm seeking something, and then attention, what specifically meets my needs or requirements of that, attention. And then contact, you get it, and it triggers something, you get an emotion, feeling, perceptions, feelings, and that creates me in my world, arises at that point of contact, perception, that which I experience, me, that which is being affected by it. That's the me program. Depending upon where one's attention and inclinations go, that alters the flavour or the qualities of the me program. And we can't really rest and regenerate until we get a hold of that program and just say, you don't need to look at things like that. You don't need to react like it. Just let that contact impression arise and pass. Don't get caught in it. Let it move through you. You know? And be careful with your attention. Don't just throw it away on anything. Restrain it. Restrain the senses. Not from some negative point of view, but out of a sense of custodianship of the heart. Whatever you attend to is going to go right in there. So it's quite discriminating. And these formations condition consciousness. So the stilling of sankhara is a stilling of consciousness, stilling, settling. Of which the leader, of course, is mind consciousness, mano-vijnana, with its ideas and thoughts and flickers. It's always, moving the others around. So we go right into that. Could that be stilled? Mano-vijnana operates manasikara, attention. And Satipatthana Samyutta, with the rising up of attention is the rising up of mental phenomena. The ceasing of attention, the ceasing of mental phenomena. Suddenly the data fade out. Now, in the English language this is a bit perplexing, because you imagine, what does attention mean? It means being attentive, awakeful, that's called appamada, heedful. Because you're awakeful, you're alert, you're on the ball. Attention is data accumulation. Manasikara in Pali is about data. And we can get flooded with it, because it all requires handling and remembering and storing, stacking away. So you can be heedful without having a lot of data. And then consciousness, so we say, well, consciousness, surely we don't want to be unconscious. Well, the English language kind of has quite a broad rendition of what that means. I'm conscious of your needs, means I'm aware of your needs. I'm sensitive to it. I'm conscious means I'm awake, I'm not asleep. In Pali, consciousness really refers to the channel through which data flows. Mind consciousness, sound consciousness, visual consciousness, touch, so forth, stuff coming in. So this gets people overloaded. And the Buddha likened it to being stabbed with spears. This is so much. And then your citta is never settled. This other word, citta. I, simply speaking, use a heart. It's not great, but it's simple. Which it feels and it responds, it surges, it craves, it delights, it soothes, it loves, it eases, it's joyful. That quality. This is the one that we can free from this endless onslaught of being stirred and shaken around. The resting of attention is the peacefulness of the heart. It doesn't mean don't be attentive, don't be alert, don't be wakeful. It just means just lessen the data. And then regeneration can occur because when the citta is no longer peppered and bombarded and shaken, its heartful qualities start to recover, refresh, and you get subtle qualities of ease, relief. It gives those proper alertness, awareness, they amplify, and the result is joy and liberation, because we found something better than all the data that we can accumulate, something more satisfying, something more intrinsic. It's there for you, you don't have to learn it, it's there, you have to reveal it. And such as our processes of training and teaching and meditating go, it's just use enough data to clear the rubbish and the residues are where the mind would run and jump and rush out. You do it just to use enough to clear those, so you're not getting constantly jammed with your own, the accumulations of inner chatter, babble, discord, rumination, fantasies, and so forth. Just use enough to clear it. And then process of steady reduction of activity. Consciousness ceases. It doesn't mean we're unconscious. It just means it's not processing data. It's just open. And I think it's important to bear this in mind because, there's a lot of stuff, and and it's kind of intellectually stimulating and gives one the idea one's really getting to know something. And generally particularly in the Theravada, I think in all developments of Buddhism, they added detail and detail and detail and detail and detail to try to ink in all the little names of every tiny little movement. The Abhidharma, extremely intricate, almost unbearable. Visuddhimagga tried to make a meditation system out of it. And it goes into extreme details on, you say the Buddha says, unattractiveness of the body. Well, Visuddhimagga will give you 150 details of why it's not attractive. You think, yeah, I get it. This is the analysis, the mind, in thinking, in looking at the Satipatthana processes, the process of insight is detachment, dispassion, turning away, nibbida, turning away, cessation, nibbana. Like Visuddhimagga, you've got 16 different stages and 9 different stages of insight alone. You think, all these long names, you think, trying to remember them all. So they went into a lot of detail, presumably with good intention. And so that kind of interest pertain and continue to this quite intricate meditation systems where you're processing tiny mind moments, and discerning them, which is impressive. But when you look in the sutras, there aren't any mind moments. It's not there. There aren't 9 different insight knowledges, not there. And it's all been added. And it's kind of, increasing complexity, then the forest lineages kind of move the other way and say, look, this is just getting out of hand. Let's go back to Buddha. Breathe in, breathe out. Puru, just be the knowing. The Thai phrase, be the knowingness. In other words, be awareness. And awareness. So when we look in Satipatthana, awareness, and you can see that process is kind of lightly traced, where, in the Satipatthana Suttas, you've got this thing about the unattractiveness of the body. But the core teaching of Sati, which actually in the Samyutta version, there isn't any teaching on unattractiveness of the body, so that's been added. Satipatthana itself is just a sense of body internally, externally, walking, sitting, standing, reclining, stretching, leaning, okay, got it. Internally, externally, that is what happened, what the body senses around it, and what it feels. What it feels is inside it, not what you think is inside it, what it feels, qualities of heat, solidity, fluidity, movement, impulse, stuff just moving around in the body, energetic shifts. What it senses outside it, where it feels a sense of spaciousness or, openness or wet or cold or hot outside it. And noticing those two features, and then gradually, things, qualities arising and passing. And it's just to the limit to which there is pure knowing there is a body. So it simplifies. Starts out with some detail, different positions, internal, external, and then we go back to pure awareness or jnana. There is a body. What can you make of that? Well, what's happened is your attention has been moved to a few fairly whole places, not incremental details, but just the whole sense of a body in general as it walks. Externally, spacious, open, warmth, agitation. Internally, solid, fluid, contracted. Just adjusting to make it more comfortable. Okay, whole body. And then feel the body breathing in and breathing out. Whole breath, whole body breathing in and out. The energies of that streaming through the body. Right? And then simplify. Qualities arise, flow, pass through, and it's just this is body. No identity, no size, no description, no gender, no age, just And what does that do to the mind? The mind goes, but, what should I be doing? I should be... No, the idea is to hold the attention still. So instead of scurrying from this to that, you slow it down. From this detail to that, just slow it down to just the simplest possible. There is a body. Because then, that movement of discrimination and comparison and whatever stops. Attention is then held still, stilling of sankhara. This is sublime, this is peaceful. In this body. And with that, the me program doesn't really have a lot to say about that. Because it's not old or young or pretty or ugly or fat or short or tall or thin or male or female. It's just... What kind of identity can you make out of that? That's the point. Ceasing of dhammas, ceasing of attention, ceasing of dhammas, when the attention is held still like that, what contact impression you have is stillness. Like just simple presence. The deep body, which we can see in extremely fine detail, simplifies to just steady presence. Now that's useful. For a start, it's a great weight off the mind to just have something like that. But then it also supports this quality called awareness. Now awareness is different from attention. Awareness doesn't seek objects, whereas attention is a data accumulator. Awareness is a holistic, how does it feel? A listener. If attention is like the fingers of a hand, awareness is like the palm of the hand. Oh, just that. Overall feel. And that means that movement from conceptual thinking to feeling. Not to Vedana, but to Vedanaya. To not to feeling as a thing, but to feeling as an action. We sense. How's that sensing? Pleasant, unpleasant? Erratic, steady? Which is more comfortable? That. Which is more steady? That. We're noticing, following that track, into citta, the heart. This is where the heart feels steadier and more comfortable and less hungry and less frightened and more confident. With the ceasing of dhammas, it starts to shine and radiate. And it's a beautiful track. When you move down that track, you can pretty soon recognize, if you want, there's a level of discrimination can occur of what qualities are confusing, messy, tangling. We call them unwholesome, unskillful. Yeah. What qualities are brightening, leading to peace and stillness, we'll call them wholesome. It's not a moralizing judgment, just a realistic assessment. And certain qualities we find, these are steadying, gladdening, the heart is happy to sit with them, such as, you name it, but truthfulness, goodwill, kindness, patience, equanimity, non-proliferation, letting go. Yes. Agitation, negativity, dullness, craving, restless fidgetiness. No, not comfortable with that at all. So that track takes you through these hindrances. We follow it. And through really assessing. This is the citta, affected by unskillful, unwholesome qualities, and affected by wholesome qualities. We know this. This is the citta when it's scattered and distracted. This is the citta when it's compressed and contracted, tight. And this is the citta when it's not distracted and not contracted. It's the citta make, expansive, liberated, becomes great. So following that track, and you follow it through awareness, through sensitivity, through receptivity, and that movement from attention and consciousness to alertness and awareness. This is where we get a rest that's not about taking a nap or dozing off, but a rest from energies that take us nowhere useful and eat up our reserves. We get a rest from that. And if you cultivate that, the heart will refresh and regenerate, the vitality of the body does come back, refresh and regenerate. And you've learned something. This, now I know, really know, to be put aside, this to be held carefully, this to be touched lightly, this to be given maximum attention or alertness to. And so you're finding your path. These heart qualities. Now we can consider precepts, and 127 precepts, 250 precepts, 800 precepts. Yeah. Ajahn Mun, when Ajahn Chah talked to him about this, he said there's only one precept, it's the mind. Watch the mind. I don't think Ajahn Mun was sloppy. But when you get that, the rest of it kind of follows. Yeah, like that's that's you're alert and attentive, alert and aware of what you're doing and the consequences of what you're doing. You don't do that, but because you weren't aware, now you create a rule because you didn't notice that the consequences of it. Once that understanding is properly established, then you use the training, what you've learned from it, to have this sense of really understanding consequences, causes and effects, when one's blurting, when one's hasty, when one is negligent, when one is obsessed with one's own thoughts. And just bring your awareness out. And this fundamental axis, you could say, or seed of the heart is ethics, conscious and concern. It's both. You could say it's moral. Yeah, morality comes from that. This will lead to other people's distress, my remorse, won't lead to my welfare. Yeah. And you can also see it as Dhamma, understanding karma. A sense of alertness to the potency of the mind. Then we're very clear about intentionality. This also can jump around. This sankhara, cetana, jumps around all over the place. Now you're stilling it. Doesn't mean stifling it, but stilling it. Just put your intention just to be, stay longer with this and turn your intention to really valuing, appreciating, unifying around this theme. Mindfulness, awareness, body. Now, here, now. Yeah. What other people are doing and saying, have supervision over what you're doing, saying, not doing. And you're stilling it. And then its energy, instead of being frittered and frayed, is collected. And a collected citta has power. Not power to dominate, but power to refresh and regenerate. So it's the way we cultivate. Just knowing that shift from activity to stillness, for resetting, refreshing, regenerating, not adding a new bit. So generally when I'm doing my work, which I do quite a bit in various areas, there's the doing of it, and then there's taking those moments when you just stop. Body, breathing, lengthen the spine, straighten the foundation, rest. Cultivating that as a training. Still, rather than, oh, now I could do something that, oh, what's on there? Oh, look at that. Oh, what's she got to say? Oh, look at that. No, just that's all okay, but what I need now, return to home base, rest. 5 minutes, 3 minutes, 1 minute. Just learn to operate the gears. As energy is a precious resource. And we can be kind of daunted, but the sense in which, the suttas are saying, make an effort, strive on with diligence, and oh my goodness, I'm exhausted already. Striving on with exerts till blood dries up. Oh goodness, I'm already feeling, just, well, I don't want to, certainly not going to undermine that, but how does that become possible without a groan? When we're enjoying something, our heart's into something, we're fresh and bright, then we go for it. But you've got to take these times to actually, get back to the fundamental resource of energy, which is first of all to stop the leakage into this and that, and then use the body to do that, into the body, because the body doesn't proliferate. The body itself doesn't have a future. It doesn't have a somewhere else, it's just got this. It doesn't want to go anywhere, it just this. So it acts as a kind of a dam break against the flood of the mind. Use that. Okay, and then just gather, let it gather. Then you feel some energy rising, then you're beginning to ready to do a little more, bring it out, as people do. Tudong, projects, duties, responsibilities. Yet we always want to remember not to get unbalanced at all. So you're using a group retreat, where plenty of things that this monastery needs. But the essential quality of a monastery is it's got monastics. And monastics, with no monastics, no monastery. Just a building. What makes a monastic monastic? They're saturated in Dhamma Vinaya, otherwise they're just people. So this is our time for saturation. And using the body as a battery to accumulate. In a way, that process is amplified. Certain main themes I'd like to bear in mind. First of all, whole body. So all the channels are linked up. You see the whole body, the nervous system, if you like to look at it like that, energy channels, it's all linked up. It's not just your head running around with a lump of meat underneath it, or nothing underneath it. Whole body, then it links up. This means that energy can flow, vitality to restored. Vitality to restored not through muscle or not through willpower. They use energy. Energy is restored through connecting and balancing, finding the balance with. So your body, holding the body in balance when you move around. Head is not running away ahead of the feet. When you walk to the kitchen, your head's on your shoulders and that thing knows it's there. The head cannot get to the kitchen without a pair of feet underneath it. So you keep your head connected to your feet. The eyes and the mind are already in the kitchen. Body, no, you've got to walk there. Dong, 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 dong. Every one of those steps is as important as every other step. Be with that one, and that one, and that one. Stay connected, stay balanced. The other quality where the body is able to more fully absorb is saturation. Saturation occurs when you slow things down. Now, for example, I was mentioning the other day, if you take a piece of cloth, and you just quickly flick it through water, it doesn't absorb much water. If you put the cloth in the water and let it sit there, slowly move it through the water, it soaks up a lot, it becomes extremely drenched. So with our breathing, if you can just slow your breathing down, really check how much breath you need. And you can even do it, I wouldn't say doing this continually, but even preliminary, just take a few moments just to deliberately slow, linger on the out-breath, linger on the pauses, lengthen them till you begin to get the breath rate to slow down. Then the breath is moving much more slowly through the body. That means the body can drink in vitality. It saturates. The saturation rate increases as this velocity decreases. And when we look in the whole process of mindfulness of breathing, that's the movement. Long breath, short breath, slow it down. Whole body, saturation. Entire body saturated with ease. Through that process. It's a little thing you can just use as a simple upaya. When you're busy working and you stop, just take a few breaths and just a moment, hold in. And it pretty much puts the handbrake on the volitions, impulses, the mind, puts a handbrake on it, and then you're certainly awake, alert and aware, but at that time you're not focused on any particular object, but the quality of vitality itself. Objects come and go, data, something more holistic arises, you're aware of it, you're sensitive to it, you feel it, and your body drinks it in, your heart rests in that, it's comfortable, is refreshed, regenerated, and we have a good resource, whichever way you want to turn it. Turn it this way or that way, this way you've got the fundamental resource has been amplified. So let's take some time for direct practice.